from the business department, and they were trying to see what they can teach, what kind of design they can teach them, what are the steps that they can take from design and give to these people, and if this will be interesting for them. So they were playing with it, and then comes this guy by the name of Hasso Plattner, who is the founder of SAP, the big software company, and is a rich guy, and he says, he's actually an amazing person. As far as I know, I've never personally met him. So he comes and he says, what you guys are doing is tremendously interesting, because you are essentially teaching business people and engineering people to be a little bit more focused, not just on design, but on the people that will use this design. And he said, I'll give you a check, and he wrote them a check for $35 million US. And this is how the D School was started. Yes.
That's unbelievable. Don't stop.
Yeah. A year later, he wrote another check for 35 million euros. And he started the second D School, the sister D School, and he based it in Potsdam, where he comes from originally. It's sort of the Palo Alto of Berlin. If you compare Palo Alto and San Francisco, Potsdam and Berlin have more or less the same, dependency. So Potsdam is, I don't know, less than 50 kilometers down the road from Berlin. It's a little nice village, green, perfect for making design experiments of all sorts. And what brought me to the D School? Guys, do you want to take your drinks? They're not first. Fine. So I hear a lot of aviation people around the table. I was working for the European Aviation Safety Agency for some years in Germany. They're based in Cologne, Germany. And I started to read a lot about passenger experience. So there are two things here. First, my work, which is all about aviation. We were the agency that certified the A380, of which you guys have a lot of aircraft.
We have 8 of them.
Yes. And a lot in the pipeline, a lot in the making. The last time I checked, Dubai ordered A380s for about 90 billion US dollars. So it's a lot of money. So my, interest for aviation is sort of clear. My both parents are parachutists, whatever. So it's all in the genes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But most importantly, at the time we had a long distance relationship with Max. So I was traveling most of the time. And I'm like sitting at these airports and I'm thinking, what can we do about passenger experience? How can it be better? Because it sucks, honestly. Unfortunately, passenger experience was outside the scope of the agency because it only does safety. Even security is outside of the scope. We just would certify aircraft design for airworthiness and do some training with local manufacturers and training organizations, etc. But I was already on the topic of passenger experience, so I started reading about service design, about design thinking, etc. And I decided to leave my, well-paid job, and I went to the D School to learn more about design thinking.
Really?
Yeah.
What program did you take?
So I took, actually, in Potsdam there is only one program that you can follow, and this is, I don't know if you guys are interested, but the difference between the Stanford D School and the Potsdam D School is in that in Potsdam, anyone can apply from anywhere in the world. Actually, they promote, diversity. So I think the farthest you come from and the more interesting profile you bring, the better. And you follow one program that is structured like this. You start with a 2-day design challenge or design thinking challenge. So they give you a problem. They split you in teams, and in 2 days, you have to deliver your first prototype. For example, my first design thinking challenge was, how might we improve public toilet experience?
Oh.
They give you just, in brackets, they give you very nasty first challenges just to make you really comfortable with yourself and with design in general, and to teach you that design is not just, making like beautiful things like this one, but it's all about making people's life better. That's what design is, and that's what design thinking is about. And public toilets improvement is one of these topics that, I mean, how do you go on the street?
Yeah, what was your prototype about? What prototype?
The prototype was it was a piece of paper that rolls on top of the toilet so that it keeps it clean. This was one of the prototypes we tested, and the other prototype was a family public toilet, because we figured out there is a huge problem when you are a family with, let's say father with 2 daughters or mom with 2 sons, whatever. So you need space, first of all. Then you have this decision point of, do I go to the female toilet or, whatever. So
you do this first prototype, and then what happens? Is it 2 months, 3 months?
So this is 2 days, then they throw another challenge at you, they give you another team, and you have to go through a 2 weeks design challenge, then 6 weeks, and then 12 weeks. So this is how the whole program is structured. And the challenges, the big ones, like the 6 weeks and the 12 weeks, they are real challenges that companies or NGOs or public institutions have. And they pay money to the D school, so this is how the D school makes money.
You as a student pay money.
We pay money, but it's a very small amount. So until last year, the D school was free for students. It's not free anymore, but you pay very tiny. You pay 750 euros per term, and it's 2 terms only. So it's very cheap. The Stanford one, actually you can get to the Stanford D school only if you're a Stanford student. So, and that's A, difficult, B, expensive. Or you can go as a guest student if a professor invites you to their class, but it's at their discretion, or as a research student. So the 2 D schools have a common research program. That's the only thing that they really do together. So if you're a research student in Stanford, you can go to Potsdam, and vice versa. Yeah. And the difference, what I figured out in Stanford, is that you have much more variety of courses, so you can essentially build your own design thinking program if you want. If you are interested in applying design thinking to education, there would be a course for that. If you are just interested in applying design thinking to improving financial services, there will be a course for that. So it's much more oriented towards you already knowing what you want to do, and then just facilitating you on that path.
Very good.
While I think in Potsdam they try to help you out discover what you want to do. Stanford recently they started offering a course about, I think it's targeted at very young students that are confused about their career choice, to help them discover what they want to do through design thinking. So they have this pop-up class on this topic, but other than this, I think it's for more, mature students. That's my feeling. So what else? After I graduated, there are essentially a few choices. When I look at what my colleagues, every year the Potsdam School produces 80 design thinkers, 80. So the choices that they take are either they do their own startup. It depends on your background, because the D school accepts engineers, sociologists, psychologists, artists, business people, marketeers, whatever. So it depends a little bit on your profile. I think most tech people would go for a startup, for a tech startup, but just do it much better and much more focused on understanding their user needs and doing a better UI and UX, etc. Most business people would go and either work for a big company or a big organization as a sort of an internal innovation, booster sort of thing. A lot of people would go and found their own social enterprises. So, there are a lot of people, especially Berlin is a place where social cause is very, very important, and they would think of either, an NGO that supports a certain cause or some sort of a mixed model where you are a company and you have a business, cause which is making profit, but also a social cause. Like a lot of friends created these companies that produce socially responsible goods, like T-shirts or sneakers, but they monitor the production line. They ensure that these are made not by 12-year-olds or 12.
Nimble fingers. Nimble fingers.
Exactly.
You're like, not funny. Let's keep going.
Or you can start your own design thinking consultancy, which is also a lot of people in Berlin do. They are popping up every year, and it's hard. I think the market in Berlin is saturated with design thinking consultancies.
Yeah, because it's a very transferable skill, first of all.
Yeah, it is.
So
it is.
You cannot base the business on that.
Yeah, exactly. You can embed it in a co-working space, for example, or in an NGO that also offers design thinking, training to, let's say, younger entrepreneurs, whatever, something like this. But on its own, it's hard.
Yeah.
So my choice was to start my own design thinking consultancy, but on a different market, which was out of Sofia.
Which was what?
Which was when I went there a year and a half ago, literally no one knew what design thinking was. No one. I mean, the term was unknown, and I was telling Jose before you guys came, I spent the first 9 months just talking about my company and not, having any clients, no profits, nothing like that.
How did you finance yourself?
How did I finance?
Yeah.
I planned.
Sugar daddy, what else?
Sugar daddy.
I had a runway for myself, and standard in Sofia is it's uncomparable to Dubai. Okay, so you can live on 1,000 euros luxuriously a month. Yes.
So I'm sorry, so you have a design consultancy?
Yeah. Exactly.
And basically, corporate clients will come to you to help them develop.
Exactly.
Help them think